Next activity or position is standing. While coming to standing position from a sitting position, we need to consider various factors. We have to make it sure that the person is wearing suitable shoes so that it is not uncomfortable. They have to be light and properly fitting. The clothing has to be well suited for the person and should not be hampering the movement of any joint. Range of motion of the joints have to be sufficient to allow movement of standing from sitting, and support which is being used for pushing from sitting to standing has to be stable enough to bear the weight of person, so that patient's confidence is enough and he or she can perform standing activity easily. While performing standing, we need active participation from patients while we are planning activities, because many components are including feet placement, pulling or pushing up from the chair, and the person has to be included in planning activities so that he or she can perform better. While sitting on a chair, feet has to be placed closer to chair but not beneath the chair, and both feet are placed apart from each other so that base of support is wider and center of gravity falls within the base of support while the person comes to standing position. Arms are used to push up, but if the person is not able to push, we can use pulling up using a bar or trapeze. It is not advisable to continue pulling up, and it is more advisable to use push-up strategy to come to standing from a sitting position. And the person is sitting inside parallel bars, both the hands are supported on chair or on the bars. The weight is shifted to the feet, which are kept close to the chair, and downward pressure is applied by pushing through feet or pulling through the hands. The body is brought into the position of full extension and erect standing position is achieved. During this whole process, if the patient is not confident enough or is having problems, therapists may be providing assistance or support whenever required. While the person is trying to coming back from standing, the reversal of the same process is done. Patient puts one hand on the armrest of chair to make it a point of contact and support. Further, it increases confidence of patient to have a stable surface providing him support. Then patient starts to flex the body, which is started by the head flexion and gradually flexion of trunk, hip and knees. Then he moves slightly back and down towards the sitting. After sitting, pelvis can be slightly lifted and shifted posteriorly using buttock drag or buttock shifting strategies which we learned during sitting. So it reaches the backrest and patient can sit with the back support in erect position. Now we will look certain common mistakes while the person is standing. First one is failure of complete extension. That means the patient is in flexed or stoop posture. It may be because of prolonged recumbent position. The patient has learned the flexed attitude, or it can be because of weakness or balance issues. Here the therapist places hands on vertex and asks patient to come to erect position. The therapist may also provide firm pressure anterior to hip and posterior to knee joints and guide hip and knee extension. Second common mistake or problem with standing is failure to push down while the person is coming from sitting to standing. Now, pushing on the bar or physiotherapist's hand to stand up and maintain independent standing position provides the patient with opportunity of learning to manage crutches or sticks, which we will be providing for ambulation later on. Pulling, as we discussed, is not a good strategy for a long term because it does not provide benefit of effective support, and back extensor muscle activity is least during pulling as compared to pushing. Third issue with standing is uneven distribution of weight on both lower extremities. Commonly, because of the flex posture, the patient bears more weight on heels rather than distributing it throughout the foot. So, hips are kept in flexion to maintain the balance, and the person needs to bring pelvis forward so that the weight is shifted anteriorly. Therapists can provide manual contact on anterior thigh and hip while providing verbal commands. Knee flexion should be avoided to compensate for hip extension, which is a common strategy for patient. Next is walking. As we know, you may have learned gait during first year and during second year in biomechanics. It is a complex activity and requires coordination and control of many components of body. Before we start walking training, we should take care that person is suitably dressed. He or she should be wearing outdoor type comfortable and light shoes to provide stability and ease of walking. The general principles for training walking are as below. First, the patient must learn correct pattern of walking from the beginning. As when the person starts to learn walking with altered pattern because of any reason including pain or weakness or range of motion restriction, there are chances that the person will not be able to regain normal pattern easily or in a short duration of time after we start training. So we have to keep in mind from the very first day that we are working on proper or correct pattern of walking, and we have to avoid any kind of incorrect pattern of walking. Second is we must provide sufficient support or aid so that the correct pattern of walking is allowed within the available limits. We can use parallel bars for initial training, and gradually we can move forward to use crutches or sticks as per the patient's condition. Third main thing is whenever we are providing with support, we also keep in mind that whenever the patient demonstrates satisfactory ability, the therapist has to initiate withdrawing or modifying the type or amount of support so that patient learns to become independent and he or she can gradually learn to walk independently.